Hey guys, welcome to the NFL Pickems for Week 9 exclusively here on the Hardcore Sports Network. I'm here with Nikki Stees. What's up, Nikki?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep.
It's a
So
beautiful
we got
night.
some good matchups here. For once in this week, I'm actually excited about my team in some way, so that's kind of rare, but see what we got here. So tomorrow we got let's just get right into it. We got the Texans and the Jets. I'll let Nikki go first for every game. So what do you got for this game?
Give me the Texans because at this point, the Jets are a lost cause. Their hype train's over. And the Texans, they still have a solid team around them, even without Stephon Diggs. I mean, it sucks for them you lost your star receiver for the year, but they still have CJ Stroud. They still have a solid team around them. That should be at least enough for them to beat the Jets, I would think.
Yeah, I would think too. Hopefully with even with Diggs out and the Jets, they're coming off a loss to the Patriots, which I get division games, but still to the Patriots, that was very, very rough. So yeah, I'm gonna pick the Texans for this game. But Texans are going through issues of their own, but I think that it will be good enough to beat the Jets at least. So yeah, we'll see. But for the Sunday games, the first game, Dallas and Atlanta. So Nikki, who you got for this one?
Should be the Falcons in this one because you look at it on paper, they're the better team. I mean, the Cowboys clearly not the same team that we're used to seeing. And they got beat by the 49ers who were down some of their main guys. And I'm wondering, I mean, this team just they don't strike me as the same team. The Falcons, they've been taking advantage of their schedule and they've done pretty solid so far. So I think they should at least win this. They should win this matchup.
Yeah, I'll be safe and pick the Falcons for this. The Cowboys just don't really give me a good sign right now. I mean, they record wise they are a mid team right now, but I mean Atlanta they've been keeping up with expectations, I guess, in some way. And this isn't like a primetime Kirk Cousins game or anything like that. So I'll um I'll play it safe and I'll keep it going for Atlanta, but these two teams, I don't know how to really feel about them. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Cowboys won or anything like that. But yeah, for now I'll play safe and pick Atlanta. So we'll see what happens in that game. Miami and Buffalo. Who you got?
Buffalo, this should be an easy matchup here. I know Miami with Tua back, they're at least more competitive, but they've been such a deep struggle since that it's going to take a while to get their momentum back. And playing the Buffalo Bills doesn't help with that. Because at least Buffalo, they're rolling. So at least
Yeah,
they could get the W here.
yeah. I'll pick Buffalo. I mean, Josh Allen, he has the Dolphins number for the most part. But not just that, Miami, they've obviously struggled this year. I mean, they're coming off a loss against my team for crying out loud, which is embarrassing. But with Tua back, their offense did look better. I'll say that. There was a stat line they put up 20 points for the first time since week 1 last week. So their offense looked better with Tua playing, obviously. But the issue I saw with the Dolphins last week was they weren't getting Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle the ball, and those are their two best weapons. Like they were dominating the run game, but they weren't finding their star receivers a lot. So that's something that they need to fix heading into this game, if they even have a chance. But I think Buffalo wins this in a blowout. This is just yeah, it's just it's not going to be good for them. Um, Raiders and Bengals battle of mid. Who do you got for this one?
The Bengals, I mean, at least they have a somewhat competent offense, and I don't know what to expect from the Raiders. I mean, at this point, there's no expectations for them except tank bowl contenders. I mean,
Yeah,
shit. At least as long as the Bengals still have Burrow and company, in some of their pieces, they should be able to beat the Raiders.
yeah. I think yeah. Even though the Bengals have had their issues, they're 0 for 4 at home, which is crazy. But I mean, it's the Raiders. The only highlight of their team I've seen so far this year has been Brock Bowers. Other than that, I don't really see anything going good for the Raiders as of lately. The Bengals, though, they have struggled, so and they are winless at home, which is something to look at. But for now, I'll pick the Bengals. Chargers and Browns. Who do you got?
Yeah, there is a possibility we could see an upset solely for the fact that the sense that the Chargers are inconsistent, and now that the Browns actually have some decent quarterback play, they might actually win this game. Because I even said if the Browns had better quarterback play, they'd probably be 4-4 because they'd probably win those Giants and Raiders games. So there is a chance with better quarterback play they could get the upset, but I mean the Chargers have the winning record, but I might go with the upset in this one.
Cleveland. Okay. Let's see. So Chad says he has the Texans beating the Jets because CJ Stroud's his fantasy quarterback. Then Chad has the Falcons, Bills, and the Bengals. So for this game, I could see the Browns winning. They did look a lot better with Jameis Winston, which is sad on Deshaun Watson's part. But it was against the division rival too. And even though like the Browns are a terrible team right now this year, division games, in my opinion, are tough no matter what. Like even it doesn't matter how good or how bad you are. So I think that game for Cleveland was really just a once in a while game. I wouldn't be shocked if they beat the Chargers right here in this upset. It would be, but I'm gonna go with the Chargers for now. But really though, like the Browns right here, they should just be sellers at the trade deadline. That's what I would be focused on if I were them right now because it's not going good at all for them right now. But hey, but I'm gonna pick the Chargers for now. So we got the Patriots and the Titans. These are two of the worst teams. Who you got, Nikki?
I'll take the Patriots. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they do. At least they have a little bit. Drake May has some potential at quarterback. Should be maybe enough against the Titans.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Patriots too. I mean, the Titans look god awful last week. Like they started off decent. I mean, Mason Rudolph looked decent to start it off, but then he just like the Lions offense just ran all over their defense and it was very brutal. Um so yeah, I'm gonna pick the Patriots for this. I mean, Drake May has looked decent in his game so far. I'm not saying he's like or wait, actually I think he got hurt. So I don't even know if he's playing. But Jacoby Brissett. Even honestly, even with Jacoby Brissett, I wouldn't be shocked if the Patriots won. But yeah, regardless of that, I'll pick the Patriots. So we'll see. All right, so Commanders and Giants, an NFC East matchup right here. Who do you got, Nikki?
I got the Commanders in this one. It's pretty obvious. You look at the two teams that are involved. One team's clearly better than the other. Do I need to go and break it down?
Not really. I mean, yeah, these two teams, one of them is gonna go to the playoffs, probably win the division even, and the other one should get rid of their quarterback and tank for Arch Manning or something like that. So yeah, I'll pick the Commanders for this, but it is a division matchup, so I'm not like saying it's like a lockdown pick or anything like that because the last time these two teams played, the Giants actually almost ended up winning. So like I said, I talk about the division matchups. So but I will pick the Commanders, and what a crazy win they had the other week. It was insane. Um, but yeah, the Giants, they're probably going to be sellers at the deadline too. Uh, I would say the only highlight of their team so far has been the defensive line. Their D line has been keeping them in the game. So if they can get to Jaden Daniels, I can maybe see it being a close game. But if not, then Commanders are going to blow them out of the water. So I'm picking the Commanders. Saints and Panthers. What do you got?
Oh boy. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I pick YOU the Saints.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing. Yeah, the Panthers are just the dumpster fire. The Saints aren't any better, but other than the first 2 weeks, ever since then, I don't think they've won a game yet. Uh, so yeah, this game is not really explainable, I guess. All right. Broncos and Ravens. Honestly, I could see this being a better game than people think it it could be. So, who do you got for this game?
I'll take the Ravens in this one because I mean the Broncos, yeah, they have a winning record, but they haven't really proven themselves against any good teams yet this season. They take advantage of the easy schedule, which I don't blame them for. But at least with the Ravens, they had a 5-game winning streak for the Browns game. I figured they get back to running the ball a little bit more. They should be able to get the win and get back on track.
Yeah, but there was news today that Lamar Jackson has a back and knee injury and did not practice today. So I don't know how severe that is, but their backup quarterback is Josh Johnson. So if Lamar is out, that's who their quarterback would be. So if Lamar is out, well, even if Lamar is playing, I would expect the Ravens to run the ball a lot more with Derrick Henry, which is something we didn't really see last week when they lost to Cleveland. So yeah, I'll pick the Ravens if Lamar plays. If Lamar's out, then I think Denver will take advantage of that and they'll be able to beat Baltimore. But for the Broncos, I would say they have to really stop the run game with Derrick Henry if they're really going to win this game. Because even with Lamar Jackson, I feel like dealing with those injuries, they're not going to put a lot of throws on his part. So especially with a back injury, so we'll see what happens there. But your Eagles play the Jaguars. Doug Peterson returning to Philly. What you got here?
I'm much more confident picking the Eagles this time than I've been throughout the season because at least this time we're fresh off 2 good wins, well, team wise, performance wise, even though they're against the Giants and Bengals, but they were convincing wins, which you should be getting against the likes of those teams. And now you got the Jaguars, another struggling team. This should be another game. The Eagles look impressive, build momentum, get their confidence up, going for the Dallas matchup. Or wait, is it Washington or Dallas? One or the other.
Divisional game.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah, so basically a divisional game. Yeah, I'll pick the Eagles here. The Jaguars, they did look good against Green Bay, but they just folded when it mattered. So, I mean, the Jaguars, I thought they'd be a better team this year. They're 2-6 right now at this point. I mean, they've been a letdown all season, but I mean, yeah, the Eagles, they're just the better team. That's That's the only way I could really put it for this game. So I'll pick the Eagles. Um, but the Jaguars have been in a lot of close games this season, so it's going to be interesting how that plays out. So we got look at the rest of these games right here. Okay, so the Bears and the Cardinals, both of these teams have 4 wins. What do you got here?
I'm going to go with your team though because the Cardinals are better than some people expect, and the Bears, even though they won 4 games, we look at their schedule. They were beating teams such as the Jaguars and the Panthers. And then, yeah, you look at it, you're like, they didn't really do anything to exactly impress and light the world on fire. I always had that impression in the back of my mind. Once they play tougher teams, they're going to come crashing down a little bit. Probably see the Bears finish with a 7 or 8 win team. And the Cardinals, at least with Kyler Murray when he's healthy, he at least gives them a spark in the offense.
Yeah, so I might give a long preview here, but it is what it is. But yeah, so coming into this game, we're 4-4. We won our last 2 games, and both of them were from game-winning field goals, which is kind of funny. But yeah, the last week's game against Miami, I think we really saw for the first time what the passing game is capable of because our offensive coordinator doesn't really he doesn't really let Kyler throw the ball a lot. It's normally a run first team base, and that's why we haven't really heard a lot from Marvin Harrison Jr. But last week we saw Kyler Murray throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Marvin Harrison had 100 yards and a touchdown. McBride had 100 yards receiving, and then James Conner had a good game as well. So it really went to show last week what this offense is capable of under Marvin Harrison Jr. getting involved. So, and like the first 8 games that we played this year, that was the toughest part of our schedule throughout this entire year. For the rest of our schedule, we actually have, I think it was the 4th easiest schedule among the NFL. So we just got through the toughest part of our schedule and we're at 500. So I think that shows a lot of good signs regarding the future of this team because they've been competing with teams like Buffalo, the Niners, who they actually ended up beating. The only team that really blew them out of the water, well, teams were the Packers and Commanders. So, and we know how good those teams are. So, but other than that, the Cardinals have been competitive in every game that they've played so far this year. They even almost beat Detroit too. So, they're definitely doing their thing right now. But going on to this game in Chicago, we definitely gotta outplay the Bears defense because even though like their offense has been struggling, Caleb hasn't lived up to expectations that big. The defense still keeps the Bears in games. So as long as our offense does what they did last week, if they can be able to get involved with Harrison and McBride and all of our other guys and get James Conner involved in the run game and continue to do that, then as long as they can score points, I like our chances for this game. Um, I do want to pick us, so I'll just pick the Cardinals, but uh, I feel like this is the first time I'm picking this team all season long or something like that. But um, yeah, the Cardinals, they've won 2 games in a row so far. We're looking to be buyers at the trade deadline too, so I like the signs. We do need another pass rusher, so in order for the Bears to beat us, I'd say they'd have to really run the ball a lot, just take advantage of the weak defensive line that we have and just be able to run the ball with um, DeAndre Swift or whoever's backfield. So I'll go with the Cardinals because we're at home. I actually saw a stat line that the Bears head coach is like 3-17 on the road as a head coach. So that's something to definitely look at. So I'll pick the Cardinals for once. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite me because it normally does. But I like what I'm seeing from my team so far. I did not think we'd be 4-4 at this point at all. So we're doing our thing so far. Let's continue and hopefully win the division because our division is very mid this year and is very open for the 4th seed. So we get into the playoffs. That'd be something I did not see coming at all. But Detroit and Green Bay, I think this will be game of the week right here. Who do you got for this one? Very tough matchup.
Oh, I'll go with the Lions in this matchup. And plus, remember, Jordan Love's a bit questionable with the groin strain.
Mm,
But the Detroit Lions,
yep.
man, they're looking like the class of the NFC right now, and they're looking like the team to go to the Super Bowl. And the Packers have
Yeah.
been a good
Yeah.
team too, but I just feel like the Lions, man, they just got the NFC on stranglehold right now, and I feel they
Yeah, the
keep that
Lions are
momentum
looking
going.
very good. Yeah, Lions are looking very good. I'm going to pick the Lions for this game because, yeah, I did forget Jordan Love was injured. Yeah, I know they're undefeated with Malik Willis, but against this Lions team, if they don't have their franchise quarterback, then the Lions are going to be able to take advantage of that and just bully Malik Willis for as long as it takes. So, um, but yeah, for now, I'm going to definitely go with the Lions. Even though the Chiefs are undefeated, I feel like the Lions are the best team in football right now. Like that's I just the way they're looking, the way they're scoring points. I mean, last week the Lions didn't really throw the ball that well, and they still put up, I think, 49 point. And I get it's the Titans, but they still put up 49 points, even though Jared Goff had a poor throwing game. Like it was crazy. So the Lions continue to find ways to score, and the defense does their part. So I'm gonna pick the Detroit Lions. But if Jordan Love does play, it is a division matchup. I would not be shocked if Green Bay won at all. I would not be shocked whatsoever. But I digress. Okay, so the Rams and the Seahawks. Who do you got here, Nikki?
I'll go with the Rams in this one. Now that they got some weapons back, not Kua and Cup, and the Seahawks, they've completely collapsed after that 3-0 start, only winning one game since. And the Rams, say what you will about their game against the Vikings, but they found a way to beat one of the top teams in the NFC, and their
Right.
weapons look good. I feel like I'll go with the Rams in this one. They got a little bit of an edge with a healthy offense.
Yep. All right, let's see here. Where was I? All right, so let me get to Chad's picks. I haven't. So Chad said Patriots, Commanders, Saints, Ravens, Eagles, and then he says Tyrell, I'm picking your Cardinals just to piss off Mike. Wow. Uh, Chad says picking the Packers. Okay. And then Charlotte on Facebook says the Cardinals are going to win over the Bears 45-42. I don't think it will be that high scoring, but it is what it is. Chad picks the Rams, and then we'll get to the next game here shortly. All right, so I'm actually going to go with, I mean, I don't know if this is really an upset, but I feel like Seattle is still favorites in this game. So I'm going to pick the upset and go with the Rams. The Rams looked really good against the Vikings. They were able to make the Vikings look like a fraudulent team or something like that. They did get Puka Nacua back, so that immediately made their offense click a little bit better. And the Seahawks, I mean, listen, the Seahawks did start off 3-0, but I've been said it. The the Seahawks did not play anybody good in those first three games. I mean, they beat the Dolphins without Tua. They beat the Patriots, and then they beat the Broncos before they became a decent team. So it's like I've been said that the Seahawks, even when they were 3-0, I've been said just let's see how they actually do against real teams, and they got their butts handed to them by Buffalo literally less than a week ago. So that immediately proved my point right there. I'm going to pick the Rams for this. It is a division matchup, but the Rams do good against the Seahawks, like in the past few years, believe it or not. So I'm going to say that they continue dominating the Seahawks, and I'll pick the Rams. So, and the last game, the Sunday night game, I don't know why these teams are on Sunday night, but it's the Colts and the Vikings. So who you got, Nikki?
I'm going to take a risk of picking the team that's known for mid and late season collapses in the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep.
Against the Colts, even though the Colts have Flacco, who at this moment is the better option on their roster. Remember, they still lost to the Jaguars with Flacco starting, so this team just as a whole struggling. It doesn't have the same doesn't look like they have the same magic they had last year. I'll take the Vikings in this matchup.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the upset, and I'm gonna pick the Colts. Um, I feel like, and listen, Anthony Richardson, I feel like he could be a good quarterback, but he, I said when the Colts drafted him, that wasn't going to be a good experience at first because he should have stayed in college, and that was just him making a dumb choice. So they got Joe Flacco playing again, who honestly runs the offense a lot better. And the Vikings, they just looked horrible in these last couple games. So, late season collapses, we may be seeing the Vikings do that right now. So, I'm going to actually pick the upset here and pick the Colts. So, we'll see what happens here. Would not be shocked if Minnesota won, though, even though they struggle lately. And then the final game of Week 9 on Monday night, we have the Buccaneers against the Kansas City Chiefs. What do you got, Nikki?
Kansas City. Because Tampa Bay, I feel like now they've come crashing down a little bit to being mediocre, which I feel like is their ceiling as of now. You've seen them struggle against, they got swept by the Falcons, and, when they step up in competition, they just don't fare that well. In Kansas City, they're always finding ways to win. I feel like they'll do so again against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, the Chiefs, even though Patrick Mahomes isn't really looking that good this year, I mean, the Chiefs they still find ways to win. They just got DeAndre Hopkins. They just got that pass rusher from the Patriots. I forgot his name, but Uche, I think. So yeah, they've been making moves even before the deadline. So
Bobby Boucher.
yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna pick the Chiefs for this. I just feel like Tampa Bay, like. See, I said Tampa Bay. I'll call them a good team if they repeat what they did last year. And so far, it looked like they were going to do that. But so far, it's like they're coming down a little bit, especially with Mike Evans being out for a while. And I think Chris Godwin's out for the year. So you take away Baker's best weapons. I mean, there's only so much he can do with the limited weapons that he has right now. So I think the Chiefs win this one and they go 8-0, I think, or yeah, 8-0, 9-0, whatever it is. So, man, it just doesn't feel like the Chiefs are gonna lose a game at all at some point. It's crazy how they continue to win. and find ways to win. But let's see here. So okay. So let me get to the comments before we wrap this up. So SG's picking the Rams, Colts, Jaguars, Panthers, Bengals, Falcons, Bills, Cardinals, Commanders. Okay. Patriots, Chargers, Lions, Buccaneers, and Broncos, and then Chad says Swifties. Yep, I'm picking the Swifties, I guess, if that's what we're calling them now. All right. So that was the week 9 pick'ems. Go Cardinals. Hopefully we can beat Chicago. It would be nice to see us above 500 at least one time this season when no one expected us to. But yeah, we're playing Chicago, and then I think we got who do we got after? I think the Vikings or the Seahawks or something like that. So yeah, we have a tough matchup the week after the Bears. So we'll see what happens. But Nikki, you got anything else to say before we wrap it up?
No, not off the top of my head. I mean, this was a fun episode. I mean, this week's games, some of them, even though we're picking the favorites like Cowboys and Falcons, you never know. That's one of those you never know type of games, though, too. So, like, I'll use that
Yeah.
as, or even Miami with Tua back. Those are so. There's a couple games where don't be surprised if there might be some upsets.
Yeah, right. I picked a couple upsets here. Hopefully they get it done. But yep, go Cardinals, man. Hardcore. If you guys weren't able to watch this episode, you guys can just rewatch it. Give your thoughts on the comment section if you want. If you weren't able to make it, but hey, Nikki, thank you for coming on here, man. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it,
Um,
always.
yep, of course. But guys, good luck to your teams in week 9. Let's have some good football games for this week, and we're out of here.